given, but they should retire precisely at 7 instead of at 8, for they troubled him more with questions unheard of than ever before. He told them he thought this delusion a sin, no such being as Santa Claus ever had been, and he hoped after this he would never more hear how he scrambled down chimneys with presents each year. So that is the reason why two little heads so restlessly tossed on their soft downy beds. 8, 9, the clock in the steeple told 10. Not a word had been spoken by either till then, when Willie's fat, sad face from the blankets did peep, and he whispered, "Dear Annie, is you fast asleep?" "Why, no, brother Willie," a sweet voice replied. "I've tried all in vain, but I can't close my eyes, for somehow it makes me so sorry because our papa has said there's no Santa Claus. Now, we know that there is, and it can't be denied, for he came every year before Mama died. But then I was thinking how she used to pray, and God would hear everything Mama would say. Perhaps she asked him to send Santa Claus here with his bag full of presents he brought every year. Well, why can't we pay just as Mama did then, and ask him to send him with presents again? I've been thinking so too." So without a word more, 4 little bare feet bounded out on the floor. 4 little knees on the carpets were pressed, and 2 little hands were clasped close to each breast. "Now, Willie, you know we must firmly believe, and just what we ask for we're sure to receive. You be just as still till I say the amen, then you will know your time has come then. Dear Jesus, look down on my brother and me, and grant us the favor we're asking of thee. I want a wax dolly, a tea set, a ring, an ebony work box that shuts with a spring. And bless Papa, dear Jesus, and cause him to see that Santa Claus loves us far better than he. Don't let him get angry and fretful again. And dear brother Willie and Annie, amen. Dear Jesus, said Santa Claus come down tonight with a bag full of presents before his sight. I own he should bring me a nice little set with 5 shiny runners and all painted red. A box full of candy, a book, and a toy. Amen, and then, Jesus, I'll be a good boy. Their prayers being ended, they lifted their heads, and with hearts light and cheerful, again sought their beds. They were soon lost in slumber, both peaceful and sweet, and with angels and with angels in heaven. Oh, what is next?
It says here fairies in dreamland. I don't know if that's right or not. Fairies
And
in
with
dreamland.
fairies in
Dreamland were
roaming in sleep. In sleep?
That's what it says here.
No, it's at 8, 9, and 10. 8, 9, this,
The clock on the steeple struck 10.
the clock in the steeple
struck 10.
told 10. Ere the father thought of his children again, he seems now to hear Annie's half-suppressed sighs and to see the big tears stand in Willie's blue eyes. I was harsh with my darlings, he merely said, and should not have sent them so early to bed. But then I was troubled. My feelings found vent, for stock price today has gone down 10%. But then they've forgotten their troubles ere this, and that I denied them their thrice as for kiss. But just to make sure, I went up to their door, for I never spoke harsh to my children before. So saying, he quickly ascended the stairs and arrived just in time to hear both of their prayers. His Annie's blessed papa brought forth the big tears, and Willie's brave promise fell sweet on his ears. I've forgotten, he said with a sigh, how I long from a child to have Christmas draw nigh. I'll atone for my harshness, he really said, by answering their prayers ere I sleep in my bed. So saying, he turned the stairs and went down, threw off velvet slippers and silk dressing gown, donned hat, coat, and boots, and went out in the street, a millionaire, facing the cold, driving sleet. Nor stopped he until he had bought everything, from the box full of candy to the tiny gold ring. But in fact, he kept adding so much to his store that the various presents outnumbered a score. Then homeward he turned with his holiday load, and at Aunt Mary's help in the nursery 'twas stood. Miss Dolly was seated beneath the pine tree, by the side of her table set out for her tea. An ebony work box in the center was laid, and on it the ring for which Annie had prayed. A soldier in uniform stood by a sled with bright shiny runners and all painted red. There were cows, dogs, and horses. No. What's next?
It says balls, dogs, and horses. That doesn't sound right.
With what?
Balls, dogs, and horses.
You're on the right track, go ahead.
Balls, dogs, and horses.
Books. Pleasing to see.
But pleasing to see. And Santa Claus laughing stood up in the tree. As No.
Birds all colors.
And birds of all colors perched up in the tree. And Santa Claus, laughing, stood up in the top, as if getting ready more presents to drop. And as the fond father this picture surveyed, he thought for his troubles he'd amply been paid. And he said to himself as he brushed back a tear, I'm happier tonight than I've been you for a year. I've had more true pleasure than ever before. What care I if banks don't fall 10% more? I'll make it a rule after this, I believe, to have Santa Claus visit us each Christmas Eve. So saying, he turned to the stairs, went down, threw off velvet slippers and silk dressing gown, donned hat, coat, and boots, and went on the street.
Just a minute. You're back. You lost it there. Have Santa Claus visit us each Christmas Eve. So thinking, he quickly extinguished the light.
The light, okay, I said him.
Tripping downstairs.
So saying, he quickly extinguished the light and tripped down the stairs to retire for the night. As soon as the rays of the bright morning sun sent the darkness to flight, and the stars, one by one, 4 little blue eyes out of sleep opened wide, and the very gifts prayed for were quickly espied. They laughed and they cried in their innocent glee, and added for Papa to come quick and see what presents old Santa Claus brought in the night. Just the things we had wished for, and let forth his light. And now, whispered Annie in a voice soft and low, you'll believe there's a Santa Claus, Papa, I know. But dear little Willie climbed up on his knee, determined no secrets between them should be. And he told him of how Sister Annie had said that their dear blessed Mama so long ago dead used to kneel down and pray beside a chair, and God up in heaven had answered her prayer. So we died up and paid just as good as we to it, and God answered our prayers. Now wouldn't he do it? I should say that he was. He'd have brought you all these, and would know just the presents my children would please. Well, let him think so, the dear little elf. 'Twould be cruel to tell him I did it myself. So saying, he hung,
Blind Father, who caused your stern heart to remember.
Was that
This is the last one.
Blind Father, softly upstairs, and made you his agent to answer their prayers.